What I find weird is that I keep seeing these videos of this guy who shows inmates in jail. That guy has no idea what it's really like in jail. He may have spent a, a summer in there, but in the county. But I don't think that dude ever went to prison. He has no idea what it's like. You know, you have to you have to when you're in jail, you have to, or prison especially, you have to forget somehow that the world exists, and then you have to flip it inside out and pretend like the world that you live in prison is the only world. It's almost easier to not have anybody writing you. It's 100% easier. 100%. It's 100% easier when nobody writes you. Nobody. It gets lonely. Yeah, like these people don't. They forget about you and all this other stuff. But you don't have to worry about what's going on in the world. It's easier to accept the inside, your cell and these people and the way it moves in there, the violence, the games, the legitimacy of how real inmates work. Yeah, I've been in prison in New Mexico, Texas, Louisiana, um, Oklahoma, and in each vibe is just a little bit different, and the politics are a little bit different. But federal prison, they don't play. Federal, federal prison is a different story, especially when you're in the higher security levels. These people have no understanding. When you catch a federal case, like if I caught a federal case, I'm going for life. It's my like I can't catch another case federal. I will be in prison forever. They do not hand out light sentences. So these guys that are in there for drugs and guns, they're doing 20 flat, 20 years, you know, 20, 30 years, you know, they got, and half that, and everybody on their case, except for maybe one or two of them, told on each other, and it gets crucial. And then when all that stuff spills out, it's even worse, you know, and I got the misfortune to walk into federal prison, county jail, to the gladiator tank where you're fighting I fought every week there. I fought every week over nothing. Nothing. Uh, you know, it's just a big realization that when you see some of these inmates on camera, and they're talking about what prison life is, and they're showing this, they have hardly any experience, and they're just making the money on the you know on the show, which is cool, whatever. But I 100% for sure they don't know what it feels like not to get a letter in the mail, or not, or when your kids or your family don't answer your phone anymore. It's the worst. And then you have to swallow it for so many years. Um, and then you try to rebuild your life, or you don't. Like for a lot of my times out, I didn't rebuild my life. The corruption of the system just kept me invested in just doing the worst dumb stuff. You know, luckily, right now I have a great support team, and you know, thank God, thank God. When you sell your soul to the devil, it doesn't pay very well, and it might to some people, but the anguish and the torment that comes along with that life is just, and the ones that don't get paid are getting fed, stabbed in the back. You know, when you give your life to God, in this situation, it benefits you. It's benefiting me. Um, so I just, I just have this weird hard time, and then you're found out. What's crazy, what's driving me berserk is when you just sit there and you look, and you're just like, you don't want to go back to that, you don't want to go back to that, but you accidentally pop on it, and then it just keeps popping back up on your phone, and you're just like, man, it's real on the inside, but the guy that's just like, running it on his ad is just has no clue, and he's trying to tell you what he thinks it is, but he has no idea what it is. You don't know what the truth is. I know what the truth is. There's a few of us out here that know what it is, and it varies from state to state. Politics are different. Some people let stuff slide. Some people don't. Um, and but the reality is the system wants to weed out society. So they weed us out. Then they keep you on drugs. They weed you out. They put you in a program that doesn't do anything to benefit your life, and then you keep going back out, and then you get thrown back in, and that's how the system is designed. No real help. You're just a money. You're just money to their. You're just another customer for their business. So they just want customers, and they want you to weed yourself out, and swallowing that every day. I came from a town where you had to accept that. You had to accept that 90% of us went to jail, and we grew up in jail, and that's how it went. And then when you decide to stop, they don't care. They don't care. They don't care. It doesn't matter. And that's just the reality, and it's so weird. And then you see I always see this guy who was this is like this guy with the glasses. He just got out of federal prison, who was a rat, who snitched on people, and then just now he has a bunch of money for it. And then his shot callers are on TV, the ones that he had to pay to live, and he had to pay rent in prison to survive, are now on his shows. It's so weird, man. But I guess that's just a survival tactic. Um, you know, but the reality is most southern state prisons are violent. It's fighting. The ones in Louisiana are stabbing. The ones the federal prisons that I went to in Louisiana, they had a no fight rule, only stabbing. I didn't have to participate in any of that, thank God. Oof, slide in and out of that one. But man, for most of those people out there, politics are strange. And the guy talking about them has no idea what it is. See ya.